my friends, I'm Chloe, C. Shoddy Hill. Welcome back to my douchey channel. I know it's been a while, I don't think anyone really cares, but I was actually really surprised to see that my Basset Hound video had over 2,000 views, which I think is so awesome. And I guess you guys really like Bassets, and if I want to become YouTube famous, I guess I just need to post videos about Copper exclusively. But he's outside right now living his best life, enjoying our new backyard. And a couple of you said that I come off as genuine, and I think I am. But I think the reason for that is because I don't force myself to do this. I don't force myself to make videos about things that I think people will find interesting. I just talk about things that I find interesting and things that I want to talk about. So this video is actually about hospice. And that might seem weird to you, but hospice is something very near and dear to my heart. I used to work in hospice. I've had very personal experiences with hospice before I worked in hospice. And I think it's an amazing thing that not enough people know about. Not enough people know about the benefit. There's so many misconceptions. So I just wanted to talk about what hospice is, my role when I worked there, and my experiences. So this might be boring. I don't know, it might be weird. It might seem a little morbid to some of you. I've always been kind of, not like obsessed with death, but it does scare me. But it's also very interesting because it's something that everyone does. Like, the two things that everyone in this world has in common is we're all born and we all eventually die. And that's a very normal thing, just like birth is celebrated and it's like the most beautiful thing ever. Death is more similar than people realize. It's very normal. And I mean, a lot of people are very scared of it, and there's like this taboo surrounding it, and it's something you don't want to talk about. And I think it needs to be talked about because it's very normal and it happens to everyone. Now, I hope I'm not coming off as someone who's like 100% very comfortable with death, because I'm not. You know, I'm a sensitive person, and I sometimes get really scared about not so much me personally dying sometimes, but also like people I love dying. That's like one of my biggest fears, and that sucks. So I'm not completely comfortable with it, but definitely my experience with hospice has helped me learn how to cope with it and more how to accept it for what it is. And what it basically is someone is going to a different plane that we can't see anymore. This book that they used to distribute in hospice called Gone From My Sight, I think they switched that a few years ago. I don't remember what the new book is called, but I remember reading Gone From My Sight when I was 14 years old, and my dad was dying from lung cancer. And it helped me. And it basically was just saying, just as a ship goes over the horizon, that doesn't mean that it ceases to exist. It just means you can't see it anymore. And that's simply what it is. You're just gone from my sight. That doesn't mean you're gone from my heart. I'm gonna let my dogs in. Mother. Ooh. I brought the star of the show. I know you all love Copper so much. Here's the guy. Say hi to your fans, Copper. Oh, say hi. A lot of you actually busted my balls for like roasting my dog. Like, of course I'm gonna roast him. He's my guy. Like, of course he's gonna get roasted. Oh, jeez, Copper. Hey. Were you offended when I roasted you? Did I hurt your feelings? Because a lot of people came to your defense, saying, all dogs do those things. That's not reasons not to get a Basset Hound. Like, if you watch the video, you know I'm joking, right? Okay, anyway, back to hospice. I did not plan any of this. Like, I'm just talking. We'll see if we get anything good out of it. Right, cop? If anything, there's a Basset Hound in this video, so... Okay. Back to what I was saying. So one thing that, I'm a music therapist, or at least I was, And a music therapist is, you know, an allied health profession. You have to have a bachelor's degree or higher in music therapy from an accredited university. And I went to FSU. And then after you do all the coursework, then you have to do, I think it's 1,200 hours of clinical work supervised. So that translates to a 6-month full-time internship, 40 hours a week for 6 months of your life. Most of them are not paid. And then after you complete that, which you need to pass, which is honestly, some people don't pass that, obviously, then you become eligible to sit for the board certification exam, which is also very hard. I like barely passed it. I don't think I could pass it again. Right now, I'm like, do I let my certification lapse? If I do, will I ever be able to get it back? I don't know. I think I have like 2 or 3 more years. You have to have a certain number of continued education credits every 5 years. So yeah, being a music therapist is not as easy as a lot of people think. It's not a music volunteer. It's not a high schooler playing guitar and singing. It's an allied health profession, and we use music-based interventions to reach non-musical goals. And music therapists work in all different kinds of settings, and one of the settings is hospice. When I first discovered music therapy, I was in high school, and a music therapist came into my chorus class and talked about how she worked with hospice patients. And at that point, I had already gone through an experience with hospice when I was 14 years old with my dad. He died in 2009. And hospice was there for me and my family. And it was obviously the worst time of my life for all of us, and it was the worst thing we've ever gone through. But the staff at hospice made it bearable. They made this unbearable situation bearable, and they were there to support us. And I don't know how we could have gotten through it without hospice. So when I found out that I had always studied music. I'd always taken voice lessons. I went to an art school for middle school, an art school for high school. And I was at this point, I was a senior, and I was like, well, I've studied music my whole life. I'm good at it, but I don't want to be a music teacher, and I don't want to be a performer. So what am I going to do? Just abandon all of this hard work? And then this music therapist came in. She's amazing. My idol. Bree, if you're watching, shout out to you. You're amazing. And she was talking about her experience working with hospice patients, and I was like, that's it. That's my life's calling. I need to go do that right now. And I actually was already going to FSU, not knowing what I was going to study. And I found out that FSU happened to be one of the colleges in Florida that offered a music therapy program, a really good music therapy program. So I reached out to the College of Music, and I was like, hey, I know I missed the deadlines, but like, I need to become a music therapist. Like, please let me audition. I wasn't even in the College of Music at that point. And they said, if you can come next weekend, we can have your audition at this time if you can make it to Tallahassee, which is about a 7-hour drive from where I lived down south. And my amazing grandparents, my dad's parents, who've done everything for me, everything, they really stepped up to the plate when my dad passed away for me and my brother. Anyway, they drove me to Tallahassee. Our car broke down on the way, but they drove me. I did the audition. I have a crazy high school chorus teacher that I need to tell you guys about. Oh my God, it's crazy. But that's a different story for a different day, because I'm already talking about 3 different stories already. So, anyway, I went through school. I became a music therapist with my sole intention on working in hospice, and that's what I did. I did my internship in an amazing hospice, and I ended up getting a job out of college in hospice, back home where I live with my family. And I was so happy. I'm like, this is my dream job. Like, how lucky am I that I get to do my dream job, first job out of college, full benefits, amazing, yes. And I did that for a little over a year. And actually this month, April 2020, that marks a year since I left my music therapy hospice job. And there's a lot of reasons why I left. I guess, if I'm being completely honest with myself and with you, I became a little disenchanted by it. I felt like, this might make me sound like a brat, but I felt like I felt underappreciated. I felt like a lot of people, including my fellow coworkers, didn't understand what I was really there for or care to listen about the purpose. I've had this fan on this whole time, and I bet it's ruining the audio. And then simultaneously, my mom and I are building this business, Pause, and I just became so invested in it. It just made sense for me to leave and work with my family. So that's what I did. And I honestly don't know if I'm ever going to go back to music therapy. But the thing that I miss the most about it is the patients and the families. I love them so much. And that was, you know, it was a real honor working with them. And I met so many amazing people, and I'm still in touch with some of my coworkers. I'm still in touch with some people from my internship from that hospice too. And it's more than a blessing. And yeah, of course I struggle with guilt about leaving, and you know, about throwing it away, my education and all that stuff. But you know, we're just on this wild ride, and you don't have any obligations. So for those who don't know, hospice is a place. It's not a place. Hospice is not a place. It's a service. And if you have a condition and a doctor says you are probably going to die in 6 months or less, you become eligible for the hospice benefit. And hospice will send you nurses, CNAs, social workers, spiritual chaplains, spiritual care counselors, whatever you want to call them. And in a lot of cases, they'll send you music therapists. I think that's all the disciplines. So they'll provide these services for free. And they'll come into your home wherever the patient lives. That's the home. So we would go into people's houses. We would go into facilities of different kinds. If a patient happened to be in a hospital, we'd go see them in the hospital, and we would just go see them wherever they were. And it's not only for the person who's dying, it's also for the family members. So a lot of times as a hospice worker, I would see people wait until the very, very last minute to put their loved one on hospice. And then it's just like this very quick whirlwind thing where you would get admitted and then they die within a week. And the family members are beside themselves. They don't have any funeral arrangements. They don't know what's going on or what to do. And that's really sad, because they should have called hospice months ago, and they should have been receiving these benefits and all of this support. Because I think a common misconception is a lot of people think once they call hospice, they're just giving up and they're just gonna die. And sometimes people even think that hospice will speed up the process, and that's really sad, because that's definitely not true. The purpose of hospice is palliative care, comfort care, to comfort people during their last days. So if someone is dying and their condition is inoperable, in order to qualify for hospice, you can't be participating in any curative treatments, only palliative treatments. So anything that makes you feel more comfortable, you can do that. You can continue doing that, and it's covered from hospice. But anything that you're doing to cure your illness or whatever's happening, that can disqualify you from receiving the hospice benefit. And then even after your loved one passes away, hospice is still there for you for a whole 13 months after. So they're still there to support you if you need anything over the next year and 1 month. So you can get through all of the first anniversaries, like the first birthday without them, the first holidays without them, the 1 year death anniversary. They're there for that too. And I've noticed, for the most part, people who work in hospice are some of the most compassionate people, the sweetest people. They just really love and care about people, and they just want to be there for people. And that's what I wanted too. I just wanted to be there for people the same way that they were there for me when I needed them. So don't wait too long. Don't wait too long to call hospice. You have nothing to lose, and they can help you a lot. So my role as a music therapist in hospice, I would obviously visit patients in their homes, wherever they called home, and I would learn their favorite songs, and I would usually play guitar and sing to them, and I would be there as a emotional support for the families and the patient. Music therapists can also help with things like pain. They can do entrainment and distract from pain. They can help regulate breathing patterns. They can be there for procedural support. If someone has to get something done that they're really uncomfortable with, the music therapist can be there to support. They can do co-visits with other disciplines, like maybe the music therapist and the chaplain might go together, and maybe they might sing hymns together and talk about what happens when they die based on their religious beliefs. And then a big part is positive stimulation. If a patient is not really responding, you can still provide positive stimulation for them if they can't participate in life the way that they used to. Just having someone come and touch them softly without overstimulating them is really good for them. And it's very comfort for the families to know that someone is going to see their loved one for 30 minutes to an hour every day, or whenever, however often the visit frequency is, and just providing one-on-one love, really. That's what we do. We love people, okay? Not inappropriately, obviously. And then, of course, we have to document our visits, and that's how you get reimbursed. That's how the hospice gets reimbursed for providing the care from Medicare. Is it Medicare or Medicaid? I know I could just look it up, but I don't know. I don't remember. I always get them confused, but it's one of those. And that's how you get reimbursed for hospice services. So you have to show that you're visiting the patients at the set visit frequency, and they have to have at least a certain number of visits by each of the disciplines in a certain amount of time. And then you have to document that the patient is declining. So obviously no one can definitively say when someone's gonna die. If someone has cancer, they usually say, it looks like you have this many months, it looks like you have this many weeks, but obviously you could end up living way longer or way shorter. So in order to stay on hospice, you can live longer than 6 months. It's not like, oh, at the end of 6 months, we'll kill you. It's not at the end of 6 months, we're kicking you out. As long as we can document that the person is still declining in health and their condition is declining, they can stay on hospice for technically forever, as long as they're declining significantly, and you can show it. So it's not a death sentence. It's not gonna speed along the process. It's just gonna put you in touch with a lot of people who have a lot of experience who can help with that. In a lot of cases, the music therapist would also help plan music for funerals, and I would sing at a lot of funerals. And just be there for people. Just support. That's what it's all about. And yeah, I definitely miss it, but there were a lot of issues with my job. I don't know if I'm legally allowed to say that. I don't think anyone really cares, but there were definitely some issues, and it was very frustrating. And if you want to know more, I will make a video about it, because why not? And I'll also make a video about my crazy chorus teacher. If you're watching, I don't know what to tell you. If you're watching, you should have been nicer to me when I was in high school. I don't think she would watch this, but yeah, I'll make a video about that too. And I can make another video about music therapy, because I know I just kind of skimmed over it all, but yeah, I just like to make videos about what I like to make videos about, what's interesting to me, what's important to me. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you subscribe. I'll make another video about Copper. Just tell me what you want to see him do, and I'll get him to do it. Okay, thank you so much. Please stay safe. I know this is really kind of difficult. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been making videos. I've just been being, very gentle with myself and allowing myself to... I'm also moving. I just moved into a new place. I can show you that too. I can show you a lot of things. Okay, bye. Thanks.